They mustn't marry. Hefty girls wanted for police force. Women with brains plus good physique are wanted. The pay and prospects are good, but they must never marry or their career will end. They are needed as recruits for the Metropolitan Police Force. And Sir Philip Game, Chief Commander, and Miss Pato, Chief of Women's Branch, are making a special appeal to spinsters and widows, girls in universities and public schools, girls with training in nursing and social work. Married women need not apply. They must be hefty. Good pay is being offered, 53s 3D a week with free quarters in special hostels. But a high standard of intelligence, tact, and physique is being demanded. The recruits must be at least 5 feet 4 inches high. They must be hefty enough to withstand a rough and tumble, and they must be fairly good looking as well. As if the rest of it wasn't bad enough, they had to add that in at the end. Hello and welcome back everyone. Here we are for the second episode of Reddit Readings and Art. Today, as I'm sure many of you can probably tell, we are going to be looking at the subreddit of Men Writing Women. So let's get right on into this and see what kind of terrifying things we can find here. This is from Age of Gaia by James Lovegrove. He was that last little bit of reassurance to get her across the line. He was naked under the covers. She approached the bed with a slow, stately grace. "How do I look?" She gave him a twirl. "Magnificent," he said, and he meant it. There was so much of her. Her breasts were immense, mountainous, possibly larger than the breasts of all other women he had slept with combined. They gave a delicious ripple as she moved, her buttocks, across which the base of the negligee was stretched taut, had the ripe roundness of watermelons. Her legs were thick and powerful. What woman wouldn't want to be described as having mountainous breasts, thick legs, and a watermelon for an ass? I think maybe this guy should have at least had some lunch before learning how to write about women so that he wasn't, comparing them to watermelons. She is a little ugly and plump girl. Story Kenichi when he was depressed. Megumi, his childhood friend, comforted him. Kenichi was heavily depressed, so Megumi tried to comfort him by sleeping with him. I suspect that Fonfort is comfort. They just mess that one up a little bit. Even after Kenichi becomes fine, they make love each other for a while. She is a little ugly and plump girl, so he felt easy on her. Plump girl would follow you whatever you say to her, and they feel nice when you hold them. Let's see how these couple sexually active boy and plump girl end. Interesting point. A plump girl always has low self-esteem, so she won't say no when asked. System improve yourself to be a nice guy. The main character, Kenichi, doesn't have confident, but after he had his first sex, he becomes more confident. In the gym, warehouse, school, infirmary, and even in the classroom, the puberty boy doesn't know how to stop his sexuality. Let's call the girl to take care of his sexual desire. What you can't do with pretty girls, you can do with them a little ugly girl. Yes, as you can see, school is a place for sex. Heroine name, Yamaguchi Megumi. Height, 162 centimeters. Weight, 41. CV, Shirakawa Pako. That was quite difficult to read, and not only with the content, but with how it was written. And they made a note that that was in Humble Bundle. I don't think anyone would actually want to pay to read that unless it's, that seems more like a fan fiction type item that you post online, not something you actually publish, especially not without getting it at least proofread once. This is going to be my third time reading this now because I keep forgetting to apparently press start on the voice recording part. I just wanted to read about tanning hides. So in Outdoor Life is where this was found. Cronin, a 27-year-old blonde, blue-eyed, and body-pierced evangelist for a modern back-to-the-land movement, can often be found in Little Ennis, Montana, singing the praises of healthy, organic, free-range protein, read wild game, and teaching others how to use an animal from its nose to its toes. She is especially interested in reviving traditional skin tanning methods, including using the brains of an animal to soften and preserve its hide. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I have to say I don't think they needed to include a description of her like that. Was literally just scrolling through the sub instead of doing my French work, and then I saw this guy in one of the lessons and thought he would totally fit here. Sorry girls, your beauty will wither and die soon, so you may as well marry me now. When he was 21, he met a girl named Cassandra Silvetti, who was only 13, but he fell in love with her anyway. She didn't fall in love with him. I'd hope not. As a matter of fact, she hardly even talked with him. And a year later, she married someone else. Yep, they married younger then. Ronsard, however, was one of the hopeless romantics who couldn't stop loving Cassandra, so he wrote poem after poem about her, and in 1549 he published a collection of sonnets about Cassandra that made her, and him, famous. It didn't change her feelings about him though, so he pined over Cassandra until he met Marie, for whom he wrote poems, and he pined over her until he met Helen, for whom he wrote poems. He finally got over being in love all the time and wrote other things, but his love poetry is his best stuff. A little bit of a totally personal opinion here. In Ode Cassandra, which you're about to hear, Ronsard compares the beauty of Cassandra to that of a rose and warns her to use her beauty while she has it because, like a rose, she will lose her beauty quickly. She took his advice and married that other guy. Granted, this may have been from 1549, but the thought of a 21-year-old guy going for a 13-year-old girl is still creepy. I blacked out the name and picture of the person who wrote this, even though it wasn't initially. The title for this is Thank You, very cool. Title and author can't really be done on this. This is something that someone posted on Twitter after all. Anyways, I need some kitty. Wet, succulent, dripping, honeysuckle-like, sweet marinated, dark-skinned, smooth-waxed kitty. I shan't even penetrate it. I just ponder at thy glory. Dude, don't go posting this kind of stuff on social media, or anywhere for that matter. Keep that in your own mind. We don't need to know. A rant about the uselessness of philosophy of science gives way to this metaphor. So the analytic philosopher is saying, Mr. Scientist, postmodernism is bothering me. And the scientist is screaming, both of you shut up. The analytic philosopher is replying, but I know the best route. If you listen to me, we can get there faster. The scientist is done BSing around. Mr. Hawking is proposing that we stop the car, remove the two pests from the back, and keep on cruising. Martha, that scientist's wife sitting next to the driver's seat with long psychological legs, a nice sociological torso, long historical arms. This represents the soft sciences. If you don't shut these two up, I'm kicking them out. Don't make me stop this car. And that's where we are. Martha is trying to entertain the philosophers so they will be well behaved and grow up to be something rather than pot smoking couch potatoes living off their parents' resources. Maybe the analytic philosophers can offer something of worth, but this something is growing smaller every day. Either they're ambassador to the rest of the world when the scientists are too busy with their mumbo-jumbo jargon that is hard to understand by everybody, or else they're breathing over the scientist's neck saying, "What are you doing?" every 10 seconds. You really gotta wonder about someone who describes a woman as having long psychological legs, a nice sociological torso, and long historical arms. That really is just a little bit strange. Well, that'll be enough of the ever so terrifying and amusing subreddit of men writing women for today. I do have a couple more videos filmed and some more planned so that I can start uploading a little more regularly now. If everything goes according to plan, I should be able to start uploading at least every other day for a little bit now. This Galaxy bookmark plus the other few bookmarks I'm going to be doing will all be a part of my next Skillshare class on making watercolor bookmarks. So if you're interested in that, be sure to look for the update that will announce when the class is live. Skillshare teachers can only upload classes once a week, so I think that spending a few days on each one filming is a good way to go. And with the next class featuring a minimum of 4, possibly 5 different bookmarks with different techniques and elements on each one, that gives me lots of material to use for the Reddit and art series that I'm currently working on. So if you're interested in watching art time lapses while listening to some Reddit content, definitely hit the subscribe button and tap the bell to select for when notifications come. And also like this video or comment to let me know what you think of it. And let me know if there's any subreddits in particular that you would like me to look at. Thank you for watching today, and I will see you in the next video.